Hey guys, it's Christopher from Honey Money SG. So welcome back to my wealth building series where I go through my personal story of how I started building wealth ever since the age that I started receiving money. And maybe you could take some pointers of two to teach your kids and young children about money at a young age. And if you're new here, do check out my earlier video of me revealing my net worth at the age of 12 in this video over here. As usual, in this series, I'll review my net worth between the age of 13 to 18, and that was my phase 3 of life. So assumptions here remain the same. All currency values are valued in SGD, and the current currency conversion from USD to SGD is 1.36, and it will only include amounts and values that I remember from my memory. Now let's move on to middle school, or we call it secondary school in Singapore. So this was in year 2004 where I was 13 years old. My pocket money allowance experienced a huge bump to $5 a day or $25 a week. Probably because my family was also earning a little bit better than my primary school years because of the economic growth after SARS and the dot-com bubble. Now this time in secondary school, you can see a significant change in the food prices at the school canteen. Rice and noodles now cost $1.30, so my previous $1.50 pocket money allowance isn't gonna make it. Drinks and snacks will cost about 50 cents to 70 cents depending on what you buy, but I would say that spending $1.60 per day or $8 per week is relatively easy for me. But not to forget that now I also have to factor in transportation between my residence and the school, because in primary school it was within walking distance from my residence to the school, but now I have to take public transport, which is by bus. So transportation by bus will cost me 45 cents per trip, and that means 90 cents per day for a round trip from home to school and back to home. And occasionally I will also need to spend on the bus transportation as I accompany my mom to shopping during her Sunday shopping spree. So that means 6 days of 90 cents per week, and that would total up to $5.40 on transportation. So if we add up the total amount that I spend per week, that is $8 in school canteen food and $5.40 on bus transportation, which means I have a total of $13.40 weekly spent and $11.60 savings. Because my expenses are so higher this time, I decided to totally cut off sugary drinks outside because drinks are so expensive, right? So this life actually continued for 4 years between 2004 to 2007 until I graduated from secondary school at the age of 16 years old. So my total amount saved will be $11.60 multiplied by 52 weeks multiplied by 4 years, and that would give me $2,413 in Singapore dollars. And in this phase 3 of life, I will share my side story also. So if you're the first time hearing this, every phase of life, I will have an interesting side story that impact my business, finance, and life decisions. And this was it for phase 3. At the age of 13 years old, during secondary 1, I actually bought my first mobile phone using my own savings without my parents' knowledge. I don't know about you, but during that time in year 2004, mobile phones for kids are like taboo to parents, right? Parents don't want you to have mobile phones because they think it will affect your studies, you will have a lot of distraction playing mobile phone games and texting your friends and neglecting your schoolwork. I mean, it's pretty typical, right? Back then, we don't have smartphones, internet wasn't that popular back then, and computers weren't as fast as now. And back then, schools would confiscate any mobile phone that you bring to school. I still remember the first phone that I bought. It was a Nokia 8310. One of the slickiest and coolest design of a Nokia mobile phone during that era. I mean, during that point of time, there were already colored screens for the more advanced mobile phones, but that was all I could afford, a Nokia 8310. And it was actually a second-hand phone. It was not brand new, it was used. But the important point is, my parents do not know that I bought a mobile phone, because I'm afraid that they will confiscate my phone if they found out I bought it. And to use a mobile phone, you also need a SIM card, right? Most of my friends who had mobile phones actually were sponsored by their parents, signing up 2-year mobile phone plans during that time. I was different. I still need to pay for my own mobile phones and at the same time pay my own mobile phone bills. So I went to internet in school and searched for the cheapest mobile phone plan that could go with my mobile phone. And there is this very attractive plan called the prepaid SIM card. I'm not sure how many of you still uses prepaid SIM card, but at that point in time, it was the most economical decision I ever made, because a prepaid card does not have a monthly phone bill sent to your address. That means when you need to make a call, send a text, then they will deduct the money from your prepaid balances in the SIM card. So on one hand, it was cheaper because I don't have a lot of usage on it. On the other hand, the mobile phone bill won't be sent to my address. But come to think of it, I probably can't sign a mobile phone plan below the age of 18. But I could apply for a prepaid SIM card during that time, which is quite interesting because I think now you need a national ID to do that. So I managed my own phone bills and managed my own mobile phone expenses until one night where I forgot to switch off my phone to silent mode when I was at home. And oh my god, my mom found out that I had a mobile phone. And then I got a huge scolding from both of them for I don't know what reason. I mean, I used my own savings. I did not ask them for money to buy that mobile phone and support my mobile phone bills monthly. So I think a few days later, after they confiscated the phone, they returned it back to me and told me, son, since you have bought it, this is your responsibility. And to make sure that you won't go broke, you will now be responsible for your own mobile phone and your mobile phone bill. I was like, yay! Thanks guys, I was just doing what I'm doing all the while. Maybe that may sound a bit like a rebellious kid to you, but honestly to me, it doesn't make sense at all. Because the learning point here is, if your kid uses his own savings to buy something that he really likes, without asking any additional money from you, then you should be proud. Because he have already learned his own money management skills to buy something that he really likes instead of asking parents for money. Can you imagine a grown-up adult asking their parents to help them pay for their expensive weddings or properties just because they want to impress others? I don't know about you, but I felt that is just a real disappointment to the family if you have reached that age and you still have to ask your parents for money. I myself did it at 13 years old, buying my own mobile phone and paying for my own phone bills without any parental support. And you should be proud if your kid is capable of that. Alright, so with that, let us move on to the high school phase, which is phase 4 of my life in year 2008, where I was 17 years old. So this time, pocket money allowance has increased to $30 a week. And I have moved on to high school, which we call it junior college in Singapore. Now, school canteen is a little bit more expensive now, $1.70 for noodles and rice. So I would spend an average of around $2.20 per day, which means $11 per week in school, because sometimes I don't eat a full meal, right, if it's a half day. Transport fare will remain the same at 45 cents per trip, so that's 90 cents multiplied by 6, $5.40 on transport. Total amount spent per week will be $16.40, and total amount saved per week will be $13.60. This lifestyle continued for 2 years until 2009, so between 2008 and 2009, that's 2 years. And I graduated from junior college. So estimated amount saved, very simple. So we take $13.60 multiplied by 52 weeks multiplied by 2 years, and the total amount we get here is 1,414 Singapore dollars. Now, before I sum up my total net worth, I want to share my side story this time at phase 4 between age 17 to 18. This time the title of this side story is called One Night Stand. It's definitely not the one night stand that you are thinking, but I actually took up a temporary job at one night as a hotel banquet waiter. I remember I was just browsing for jobs through the internet after my final year examination because I wanted to earn some income. So I looked for this waiter job on the internet. It was paying quite well, $8 per hour in 2009. Alright, so for my non-Chinese friends, when we have wedding banquets for Chinese weddings, they will usually sit in a table of 10 people. And as a waiter, you are assigned to 2 tables. That means you have to serve the dishes to 2 tables and also make sure that all their beverages are filled so that your guests can enjoy their food and drinks during the session. When I arrived for my first night of duty in one of the hotels in the Marina Square area, it was totally not what I expect of a hotel waiter. So there was this supervisor and she has quite a manly attitude, right? She'll shout at all the seniors and new hires to line up like a platoon in national service military, you know? And then all of us new hires are like in fear, but we just follow our seniors because they seem to know what they are doing. And so this supervisor is like a platoon sergeant, you know, standing on the stage and giving orders like we are her minions. I mean, I was quite taken back because I was young, and I thought that at least there should be this level of respect that you shouldn't raise your voice against a new hire because they are probably new and don't understand what's going on. So I was tagging along to this senior who was not very friendly as well. I tried to ask her questions about how to serve and how to do all that stuff to make sure that my duties are complete. But they seem to be in a rush as well because it was really fast paced, especially during a wedding, right? So all I had to do is just to bring the food from the kitchen to the table. And you know what's the worst dish to serve as a hotel banquet waiter? It's fish, especially Chinese steamed fish. Some of the experienced waiters, you will need to learn how to cut the fish in equal portions to serve each of your guests. I mean, that's impossible for a new hire in the first night, right? So I basically just left the fish there untouched because I don't want to spoil the image of that Chinese steamed fish. And my supervisor saw that. So after serving the fish, I was brought to the corner by my supervisor and given a big scolding, man. I've never been talked down so badly by anyone for doing something that I'm not trained in. So this carried on throughout the night and the banquet ended at around 11 p.m. We were supposed to have a debrief at 11:15 p.m. at the same place that we did our mission brief, but I was so angry and devastated that I just threw my apron and ran home. I was also ready to give up my pay for that day because they were supposed to pay me by the end of the night, but I just gave it all up. A few days later, I received a call from the agency asking me why did I not stay for the debrief. I told him that I couldn't take it, I'm not going to do another job. That will be my first night and the last night that I'm doing that job. And it doesn't seem shocked, maybe because a lot of people has come and left. I mean, customer service and waitressing is not a very easy to do job, especially if you have to tolerate the mental stress given by that supervisor. But in the end, I'm glad the agency actually transferred the money to my bank account even though I did not stay for the debrief. But I must say that I'm very disappointed in the experience of being a waiter at hotel banquet. I had two learning points from this experience. Number one, customer service is not for me. Not only I have to endure the demands of serving the customer, but I also have to endure the demand of my superior. And number two, which is the most important thing, be kind to any service crew who is serving you. You don't know what they are going through behind the stage. If you could, just write a small note or thank you note for them so that you can make their day better at work. In Singapore, we don't have the tip culture, but the least we can do is just to thank them for their service. So if you are doing a service crew job and you're watching this video, thank you very much for your service and let's hope that we can make your day better. Okay, so summing up my total net worth for age 18. My previous net worth at the age of 12 years old was $1,376. And then for phase 3, age 13 to 16, I added a net worth of $2,413. And between age 17 to 18, I added a net worth of $1,414. So my total net worth here will be $5,203, which converts to US dollars at around 3.8k USD. Not bad, right? At age 13, you have a net worth of 5,000 Singapore dollars. So question of the day, what was your net worth at age 18 years old? If you enjoyed my sharing today, make sure to stay tuned as I will talk about my pre-university phase in the next video. My name is Christopher, this is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.